I'm in chemo right now. Stick around. We'll talk. Everybody, welcome to Chemo and Cocktails, the only show on the internet about cancer and classic tiki drinks. I'm your host, Wayne. You may remember me from high school. I was the guy who wore suits with really ugly purple Nike high tops. Yeah, I was that guy. Interesting day today because as you're watching this, I am actually sitting downtown at Kirkland Clinic at UAB Medical Center having toxic chemicals pumped into my body for 8 straight hours. That's right, it is finally time to put the chemo and cocktails. But what we're going to do in this video is we're going to put the cocktails in chemo and cocktails. We're going to do something different with the episode today. Instead of talking about the whole cancer thing and then making the cocktails, we're going to talk about the cancer thing while making the cocktail. Our cocktail today is a Cobra's Fang, and like the others we've done to this point, it is an invention of Donn the Beachcomber. I don't know the full history on this one. I just know there are tons of different versions of them. Everybody seems to have their own version of the Cobra's Fang, but we are going to do the original recipe from Donn Beach with a little twist. Just a little twist. We'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, so I'm going to start off with half an ounce of lime. And while I'm getting that, let's talk about what's been going on. So first off, let's see, where did you leave things? Well, I got my port placement. So I don't know if you can tell, there's a little lump. It's like a third nipple right up there. And it's just this little thing about that big underneath my skin with a little bubble to it. And they just punch a needle through there whenever they need to get blood from me or put chemicals in me. And then that connects to a catheter that goes straight into one of my arteries. So I've got a cut right up here and a cut right down here just below the port. And that's healing up pretty well, but once again, it has limited what I can do. I'm really tired of surgeries. That was an interesting day because unlike, I had like half a lime here that I figured I'd go ahead and use. I went in and my nurse was fantastic, but she brought in a nursing student from UAB who was helping her with the procedure. Very sweet girl, but very young and very new. So they asked if she could take a hand at starting my IV. So I basically became her human pincushion for about 5 or 10 minutes there. She, bless her heart, it was like she'd never really done this stuff before, so she was just all out of order and disorganized. So, you know, she found the vein that she wanted to try, and then she realized she didn't have any of her stuff ready, so she went over to her cart to get her stuff ready, and the nurse goes, you've still got the tourniquet on his arm. So then she had to come over, take the tourniquet off my arm, let me actually get circulation back to my forearm and hand. Then she got all her stuff ready, then she came back over, did the tourniquet again, found it, and then tried to poke it one time, totally missed, and then her catheter messed up. So she had to take that one out, throw it away, go get another one ready. I still got the thing on my arm. I'm still, turning blue down here. Jams that one in, the second catheter, and she missed completely. And then she starts just kind of fishing around in my arm. So she's just poking this needle around, just digging around in my arm meat. Finally, the nurse had to step in and do it for her. But, the way I look at it, if these people don't learn when they're young and they're nursing students how to start an IV, how are they going to know later when somebody's life is depending on it? I mean, it was not an urgent situation with me. It's not like she was trying to save my life in that moment. But who knows, maybe she will be responsible for saving my life sometime in the future, and she'll be a better nurse because I let her try and fail on me. Next thing up, we're going to need 1/4 ounce of orange juice. So then we went back and had a couple of male nurses, not that that matters, just I like to specify, who took me back to the operating room, and they were funny and they were joking around the whole time, and procedure went really well. I was awake the entire time, just under a little bit of, I guess not really even twilight, so it's not like I even fell asleep. So I had no pain, but I could feel the sensations of what the doctor was doing all the pushing and pulling and tugging, and I swear it felt like he was trying to cram a big block Chevy engine into an MG midget. And if you've ever seen that done, it's quite a feat. It was odd. You could tell something was going under my skin that was not supposed to be there. And but it turned out okay. I was out of there pretty quickly, and then I had to go into the recovery period, which, you know, just like with my biopsy, it was another big deal of things that I can't do, and we'll talk about that some more in a bit. Gonna get a ½ ounce of passion fruit syrup. A lot of people like to make their own. I have not tried that yet because, as we've established on other episodes, I am lazy. So, making a mess with this too. Gosh, man, you people just really know how to screw up a cocktail. So yeah, that went well, and then a week later, this past Friday, I had a PET scan. And if you watch my special video that I posted yesterday, I'll describe what a PET scan is, but it was not a good day, let's just say, because the problem is, because the PET scan looks at glucose in your system, especially a glucose that they inject into you that has a radioactive tracer, you have to limit your glucose intake leading up to the scan, which meant basically I couldn't eat for 8 hours prior to the procedure. And because caffeine will dehydrate you and they want you well hydrated when they do the scan, you can't have caffeine either. Well, about 3 o'clock that morning, I woke up with a headache, and I'll go ahead and admit it, I am addicted to caffeine. It is sad, but it is true. And I knew when I had a headache that morning and I wasn't going to have any caffeine all day that this was going to be bad. I didn't know how ibuprofen or Tylenol, acetaminophen, aspirin, those kinds of things would interact with the PET scan process, so I opted not to take any. It also, I typically take for my migraines Excedrin, or like a generic equivalent of Excedrin over-the-counter migraine meds, but it has caffeine in it, so I opted not to take anything. And let me just say, I am officially a moron for not doing so. It was bad, guys. It was so bad. I went to the PET scan, made my way in there, got checked in pretty quickly, and then when I laid down on the bed, my head just started pounding. It was just like a vice was being clamped down on it. Now, in the PET scan, you're lying on this table. It's very uncomfortable. You've got your arms up over your head like this, and you got a strap around your chest to keep you from moving at all, and your head is in this really uncomfortable foam form that just keeps you from turning your head, because you got to be as still as possible, and you got to be as still as possible for 25 straight minutes as they slowly move you through this tube and take pictures of your innards in like 5mm increments. It's insane. Amazing technology, but not the most fun thing in the world. I could have handled it just fine if not for the headache. The headache just kept getting worse and worse at one point, and I had my mask on. Forgot to take my mask off when they left the room, and I just knew, I should have known that I would need more fresh air than that. At one point, I'm like, yelling, trying to get somebody to stop it so I could take my mask off, and either they ignored me or they didn't hear me, one of the two. So I'm like this, and I just go, snatch it off. Scan be damned. I had to breathe. That helped a little bit. That helped me to keep the nausea and headache in check, but the headache kept getting worse. Everything I tried to think about, whenever I would even try to think for any period of time, it would get really bad. So I just kind of laid there and just sort of counted down the minutes until I could be done. And meanwhile, I'm getting more and more nauseous, and I'm just praying I don't throw up lying there on the table. Finally, the thing's done. I get out of there as fast as I can and go straight to Starbucks in the hospital. I get a big latte with 4 shots of espresso because I know I need the caffeine, and I order a croissant. Now, the croissants are just there. They asked me if I wanted it warmed. I said no, they should be able to give it to me quickly. So I wait around for my drink. Headache's getting worse, nausea's getting worse. I finally get the drink. I'm so nauseous I can't even take a sip of it, and I don't feel like taking my mask off in the middle of the store. So I'm just sitting there waiting, and it took forever and ever to get this croissant to me. And finally, the nausea won, and it started kind of welling up. So I ran quickly out of the coffee shop, found a trash can right there outside the door, and just horked up water and stomach acid and radioactive fluids. It was really gross. Apologies to whoever had to clean that because it was not pretty, and I did it twice. Grabbed my croissant and got out of there. Took a whole bunch of Excedrin on my way home, and after about an hour of sitting in traffic with a pounding headache and incredible nausea, I finally got home and the Excedrin kicked in and I could rest. But that was not a fun day. However, the results were great, as I mentioned in my other video. And in case you haven't watched that one, I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. My cancer is stage 1. So we could not have hoped for a better outcome unless the cancer just completely disappeared, which it did not. This is the John D. Taylor Velvet Falernum. Pretty much count on it. If you're going to make a Donn Beach recipe, there's going to be some falernum in there, so it seems. And this is great stuff, and you know, I swear by it. Going to need a dash of bitters. Speaking of bitter, do we have the bitters out here? Now I got to go get the bitters. Okay, I'm back. I've got the Angostura bitters. Need a dash of this. Speaking of bitter, it's time to talk about 5 stupid things that I hate about having cancer. This is not the stuff that you should hate about having cancer. You know, the fact that it disrupts your life, that it has to be treated with chemicals and radiation, it, you know, could kill you. Those minor things. No. This is the really stupid stuff that's been getting on my nerves. Number 1 is hair. Speaking of hair, it is hot out here, guys. It is like 82 degrees and 82% humidity in mid-October. Welcome to Alabama. The thing that drives me nuts about the hair is I know I'm going to lose my hair because of chemo, and we'll probably shave it off before it gets to that point. But that's not what bugs me. What bugs me is I really, really want a haircut right now, and I know that that would be the stupidest thing I could possibly do, is go get a haircut 2 weeks before I'm going to shave it all off anyway. So now I have to just look like this. So apologies for that. And worse than that, I'm still using, because I'm of a certain age, I'm still using anti-thinning shampoo. I am using shampoo that thickens my hair when my hair is all about to fall out. That is just the height of irony and a colossal waste of money. Second thing, which is not related to the hair, but people might think it would be, is and this one's gonna embarrass my soon-to-be 16-year-old son, who's also my cameraman tonight. Sex. The sex thing bothers me. I'll tell you what I mean by that. First of all, as a man of a certain age, 51, with a wife who is 49, I'm not ashamed to sit here and talk about our sex life, because if you've been married for almost 22 years and you're at this age and that's still a part of your life, then it should be, you know, shouted from the rooftops and celebrated. So, but I've had 2 surgeries now. I had the biopsy where they cut out the lymph node. After that, the instructions were 2 weeks, no strenuous activity. Then I had the port placement just a few days after that, after the stitches had come out from this and that 14 days was up. Instructions on that, 14 days, no strenuous activity. And let me just say, if you're not doing it strenuously, you're not doing it well enough. That's all I'm saying. They also said no heavy lifting, but that has nothing to do with my sex life. And we're just going to move on before Kelly thinks that it does. But it doesn't. Also, I'm about to start chemo. So what's going to happen there is I get chemotherapy tomorrow, for example. For 5 days after that, I'm basically going to be oozing toxic chemicals. Really the first week, all through my pores and my sweat, everything. So nothing's going to happen then, because that could be dangerous for Kelly. The week after that, my white blood cell count is going to bottom out and I have no immune system. So nothing's going to happen then, because I'm susceptible to infections or, you know, anything that she might have. I'm going to get it. I mean colds and flus and things like that, just to be perfectly clear. And then, so maybe the week after that, but we still have to be careful, and you have to use condoms to protect, because there's still the chemicals flowing through you. So I don't know what that part of my life is going to look like for the next several months, but it bugs me that it's even a consideration. All right, another thing that drives me nuts is I can't, well, first, everybody's always asking me, how are you feeling? Everybody. If you ever get cancer or any kind of serious disease, everybody you see, whenever you see them, the first question is going to be, so how you feeling? I have no idea how to answer this question. I really don't. Half the time I feel fine. Maybe I'm a little bit tired, but if I say fine, they look at me like they're disappointed. How you feeling, Wayne? Oh, I'm fine. Oh. It's like they had a thing prepared, you know, to comfort me, some idioms or some nice aphorisms to just to let me know that they care. But no, I steal their opportunity to talk to me with cliches by just saying I'm fine, which I am most of the time. I really am. Either that or they just don't believe me. It's like, no, how are you really? I have cancer. How do you think I am? Also, I can't do anything. And it's for the same reasons as what we talked about with the sex thing. It's because, no heavy lifting, no strenuous activity. And the biggest thing I've been wanting to do is work on this bar. I got to get, you can't see it here, but there are all these drop boards hanging down from the floor joists from the deck up above. I need to run 2x4s along these. Those will be purlins for a roof system or ceiling system. Then I'm going to put in ceiling panels all across here, a gutter system down along that side over there, and then I can start decorating all this out, And I keep bringing out different props for this, but I have to take them all back in after we shoot these, take the bar back in the garage and everything because I can't leave it out here in the weather. So I'm really eager to get out here and fully decorate out my bar, and I can't do it because I can't be working up over my head and lifting heavy things. I will finally be free of that from this surgery on Friday, but I don't know how I'm going to feel. I could feel completely terrible and not have the strength to get out here and do it for months. So that's just really, really aggravating me. And honestly, I've been driving Kelly crazy trying to figure out plans for how to get the ceiling system done at the bar so we can start decorating the whole thing and getting lamps and, just the whole thing. Full-on tiki bar out here. We need some rum. We're going to use this rum. You know why we're using this rum? This is Plantation OFTD. This recipe, the Cobra's Fang typically calls for a 151 Demarara. This is not. It's a little lower. I think it's maybe a 138 proof. Yes. But it has some really interesting characteristics, and there are some overproof Demarara rums in here. Holy cow. Man, I wish you could experience that. Smell-o-vision. It's coming. I'm using the OFTD because when I do try to do things around the house, like we cleaned up the garage over the weekend, I get winded really easily. I have to take frequent breaks. I'm having to take naps a lot because I get tired. And I don't know if it's because of recovery from the surgery, or if it's because of the cancer, or if it's just what I call OFT, old, fat, and tired. So the OFTD is, we're offering this up in honor of all those OFT guys out there, old, fat, and tired. You know what we could call it? OFTD, old, fat, and tired disease. I like that even better. So for all you guys with OFTD, this is the rum for you. All right, so we got everything in here. There is one final thing that I think is just really stupid about cancer, and then it's killing all of our vacation plans. And this is so petty, it's so stupid. I know we're talking about life and death situations here, and I'm talking about a vacation. But hear me out. We need 8 ounces of ice in this. We had planned a vacation for summer of 2019. Originally, and then we pushed it back to November of 2019. This was going to be a multi-purpose vacation where we were going to celebrate Savannah graduating from high school, her 18th birthday, which came after that, and mine and Kelly's 20th anniversary. Well, we had to put that off. It was going to happen in November. We were going to go to California. We were going to tour up and down the entire state. We were going to stay in an Airstream in Joshua Tree. We were going to spend a couple of days at Disneyland. We were going to do the works. I had to put it off because my company was going through a merger, and as you know, with mergers, a lot of times there are layoffs. Fortunately, I was not laid off, but I didn't know that I wouldn't be. There's no way to predict. So we put it off until spring of 2020. Then there's this little thing called COVID. Maybe you've heard of it. So needless to say, the entire state of California shut down. We had other things that we were dealing with, and we just couldn't take the vacation. So we put it off again until this year. We were going to try to do it in the spring. Things still weren't opened up enough. I was working like crazy. It just wasn't going to happen. We didn't want to go in the summer because we changed our plan because California still hadn't opened up enough. We were just going to make it a Florida trip to do a little old Florida stuff and then do 4 days at the Disney parks. Because going to Galaxy's Edge and all of that was a big part of our plan for going out west. So we had rescheduled that trip. And all right, so by now, you know, it's 2.5 years out from Savannah's graduation, over 2 years from her 18th birthday, now her 20th birthday. We're coming up on Coop's 16th birthday this weekend. It was going to be celebrating that. We're 2 years out from our 20th anniversary. So it was like all these delayed celebrations. And we were going to go in November of this year. Cancer. Anyway, we'll go when we're done with all this, and it will be an even bigger celebration, celebrating even more things. All right, so I'm going to use the drink mixer here. We're going to blend this on high speed for 5 seconds. All right, and then though this mug is technically for a drink called a rum barrel, I'm going to use it anyway because I like it. This is from Foundation Bar in Milwaukee, which is one of my favorite tiki bars I've ever been to. This place is so legit. If you're ever in Milwaukee, you've got to make a point to go there. Let's get this sucker in here. All right, I'm gonna fill it up with some more ice. Still probably too big of a mug for this drink. And as is tradition on this show, I'm making a mess, slinging ice everywhere. Let's go with a copper straw just for fun. Let's use, oh, it would be sacrilege to use a Trader Vic's Swizzle in a Donn Beach recipe. We can't do that. We'll use one of my more generic ones. Get us a little mint, as we mentioned before. Prepackaged mint, flat and photogenic. Oh, by the way, do this to your mint. Smack it around a little bit, because what it does is sort of, it activates the menthol in the mint leaves and really brings it out. And that scent, as you're drinking your drink, really helps to bring out the flavors of all the ingredients. All right, so one last thing that they always do on a Cobra's Fang is a lot of the really good bartenders will make a little Cobra out of orange peel. And I've never successfully done this, and this is going to be embarrassing, and we're probably going to have to do a lot of cutting here while I try to make this work. But I'm going to do it anyway. See if we can even begin to... How do they do this? I need to watch somebody do it, so I do it the right way. So they make a little pointy head for the Cobra's head, and then the body's thinner. And the head goes out like that. Okay, this might work. This might work. If it doesn't, then it means this knife is stupid and doesn't want me to be happy. I don't know. It's almost there. Let me just stand by. Oh, ripped off his tongue. Should have left the tongue. What was I thinking? I would like to apologize to all the really great bartenders out there. I am making a mockery of your trade at this point. There's a reason you do it professionally, and I do it on YouTube. All right, let's poke some lies in this guy here. A lot of people will use peppercorns. Oh, that's not even going to show up. All right, so there we go. There's our little snake. So we'll just put our little snake on there, hanging over the side. And we have a Cobra's Fang. And why did I do the Cobra's Fang? Not just so I could make the stupid joke about old, fat, and tired disease and use the OFTD rum, but because there's been a lot of research in the last several years by scientists who are looking into the power of snake venom to treat cancer, including venom from cobras. That's good. That's really good. I wish you guys could enjoy it, but I'll have to drink it for you. We'll see you guys next time. Pray for me while I'm doing chemo, and cheers.